All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to tear apart a few online ads to figure out this really fascinating business model. It's one that's actually tackling some of today's biggest, thorniest infrastructure crises and turning them into massive opportunities. So let's get right into it.
So it all kicks off with a question like this one. I mean, think about it. What if you could slash your utility bills by 70%? It's a super bold promise, right? Almost sounds too good to be true. But this hook, it's designed to tap right into a huge pain point for pretty much everyone, from big companies to regular homeowners. And it's really just the first piece of a very, very clever puzzle.
And there it is, the big promise: freedom. Freedom from crazy high costs, freedom from, an unreliable system, and freedom from being totally dependent on a national grid that, let's be honest, drives a lot of people nuts. That one single line, it just perfectly nails the emotional heart of what their customers are dealing with.
Okay, so to really get how this solution works, you've got to understand just how big the problem is. I mean, this company's entire energy strategy, it's literally built on the fact that the utility infrastructure is getting more and more expensive and less reliable.
And this pretty much spells out all the different pressures people are under. You've got your electricity prices just climbing and climbing. You've got the constant threat of outages, which forces people to rely on super expensive diesel generators. And on top of all that, you've even got water scarcity turning into a huge expense. Every single one of these is a major headache, right? Which means every single one is also a major business opportunity.
So how do they actually go about tackling the energy crisis? Well, this is where it gets really smart. They don't just have one generic one-size-fits-all solution. Nope. Instead, they take their core product, which is solar power, and they slice and dice the marketing pitch for totally different customers. Let me show you what I mean. This table right here, this is the secret sauce to their whole solar strategy. Just look at this. For a commercial client like a factory, the big promise is slashing energy costs by 70%. And how do they make that happen? The financial hook is off-balance sheet financing. Now, all that really means is the business can get this whole system installed without it showing up as a massive debt on their books. It's a huge deal for them. But then, for a homeowner, see how the pitch changes? Now it's all about boosting your property value and getting that eco-friendly energy independence. And then for a farmer, it's all about cutting those crippling diesel costs for irrigation. See? It's the same core product, but three completely different, very targeted hooks. And of course, to back this all up, they use real concrete numbers. This claim, right here, of empowering over 5,000 farmers through a partnership, that isn't just a random number. No way. It's powerful social proof. It tells potential customers, hey, this isn't just an idea. This thing works, and it works at a massive scale.
Okay, so once you've perfected a playbook for one crisis, what do you do next? Well, why not just apply that same playbook to another one? And that is exactly what they do, pivoting from the energy crisis right over to the growing water crisis.
And right away, you see the exact same pattern starting to play out. You get this powerful headline-grabbing promise that goes straight for the biggest hurdle for customers, the huge upfront cost of something like a commercial-grade borehole. But wait, how on earth can it be zero upfront cost?
Well, the answer is this clever little thing called a water purchase agreement, or a WPA. And honestly, this is a total game changer. Here's how it works. The company, through its partners, pays for everything: the drilling, the installation, the whole shebang. The customer never owns the equipment. They just agree to buy the water from the system, usually at a cheaper rate than what they'd pay the city. And here's the genius part. All the risk of owning and maintaining that expensive equipment, it's just gone. Completely removed from the customer. And look at how brilliantly they package this. They take what is actually a super complex multi-stage engineering project, and they sell it as this simple four-step, completely hands-off solution. From finding the water, to drilling, to testing it, and then handling all the maintenance, it's all done for you. The message couldn't be clearer. Don't worry about a thing. You just turn on the tap, and you start saving money.
So we've got solar solutions over here, and we've got water solutions over there. But what's the glue that holds it all together? What actually makes these as-a-service models work in the real world? Well, the answer is smart tech. And that's where their tech partner, Meertat Energy, steps in. You can think of them as the brains of the whole operation. They provide the digital nervous system that lets them precisely measure, bill, and manage all of these different energy and water systems that are spread out all over the place. I mean, without this tech, the whole model of selling water by the liter or power by the kilowatt hour, it would just fall apart. It would be impossible.
And just look at what this tech can do. This isn't just about sticking a meter on a pipe and calling it a day. We're talking about real-time data, constantly optimizing how the infrastructure is working, and even enabling some really sophisticated stuff, like energy aggregation and this thing called third-party wheeling.
Right. Let's break that down for a second, because it's pretty important. Energy wheeling basically means, let's say a company has a ton of solar panels on a farm way out in the countryside. They can generate power there, and then sell that same power to their factory back in the city just by using the existing grid as a sort of highway to transport it. It's a massive leap forward in how we can manage energy, and it's all made possible by this kind of smart metering technology.
Okay, so we've looked at the marketing pitches, we've seen the products, and we've peeked under the hood at the tech. Now, let's put all the pieces together and really decode the fundamental business model that's making all of this tick.
And this slide just lays it all out so perfectly. On one side, you have the customer's biggest nightmares, the huge upfront cost, the technical headaches, and the fear of long-term risks and maintenance. And on the other side, you have the company's tailor-made answers for each one. Zero upfront cost financing, end-to-end partnerships with experts who handle everything, and simple, predictable service agreements that turn a risky purchase into a simple monthly bill.
And when you look closely, you see this repeatable 5-step playbook emerge. Number 1, find a big, widespread utility crisis, like energy or water. Number 2, don't try to do it all yourself. Partner with expert installers. Number 3, get rid of the biggest sales barrier, the cost, with a clever financial model. Number 4, customize your marketing message for very specific audiences. And then, the 5th and maybe most crucial step
Is to create a sense of urgency. You notice this number, 3. Almost every single ad mentions a limited time offer, only 3 exclusive partnership slots available. It's a classic marketing move, right? It uses scarcity to nudge potential clients from, oh, that's interesting, to, okay, I need to call them right now.
So when you boil this entire thing down, the key takeaway is this. They aren't really selling solar panels or boreholes. That's not the product. They're selling simplicity. They're selling a predictable, completely risk-free solution to an incredibly complex and expensive problem. The actual hardware is just the tool they use to deliver that promise.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on, doesn't it? Is this the future of all infrastructure? Are we moving away from this idea of owning big, clunky assets and towards a world where everything we need, our energy, our water, maybe even our transportation and data, is just delivered as a simple, on-demand service? You know, looking at this model, it's hard not to think the answer is a resounding yes. Thanks for joining me.